Welcome to DU Digimon.
Hello and welcome to DU Digimon and welcome to another deck profile. If you're liking this sort of content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the latest content. Now I'm going to try and blitz through this profile as quick as I can because I'm starting work in 19 minutes, so I need to hurry this up as quickly as possible. But we're looking at Kentaurosmon. Kentaurosmon is one of my favourite kind of, you know, not meta but just really fun decks. The whole point of it is it kind of self-immolates itself to just gain as much advantage as possible, and this is the build that I'm currently rocking. There maybe are improvements we can make to it. There's definitely some ideas that I've played with and that I didn't like but kind of missed, and then kind of I flit and change on how I want to build this all the time. So if you guys have got any hot tips for Kentaurus mains, you know, do let me know in the comments below. But let's get into the list. First of all is the egg, which is the BT13 Kyaromon still. This is absolutely by far the best egg for us. You could try playing the Nyaromon that lets you trash something to gain a memory. You could do that. But this one is just so good. Giving us the jamming when, you know, when we trash something from security is really good, especially because we can do multiple swings with our Kentaurosmon. You know, so it is exceptionally good, the jamming. You know, it just means that if you don't have the barrier live from your Mitamamon, you can do everything safely. So you're all good. Then going into the rookies, we've got the Kudamon from BT13. This one just lets you search your yellow vaccine trait Digimon and your yellow tamers. There is one tamer in this deck that you can't search, unfortunately, but we can search all the other tamers, so, you know, not bad. And then the when attacking effect, if there's 6 or fewer total cards in both players' security stacks, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. So, you know, still our best searching rookie. Then we've got 3 copies of the Patamon from BT14. I've got 3 copies of this and 4 copies of the next card, and I'll explain why. And essentially the Patamon is a bit more of a stab in the dark kind of card in this deck. We're not playing the TK, obviously that one is limited to 1. And I ultimately decided to not play it because I've wanted names rather than TK's effect. I would be kind of tempted to put him in, see if I could slot him in as a one-of, but you know, I just haven't found reason to put him in. But the Patamon is really nice because if you have got a level 4 in your security stack, and we do have ways of making sure we can get our level 4s in there, then you can just move out of the breeding area, Digivolve straight away, gain a memory for doing so as well, and you know, just put something else into your security for later. So really great card, but like I say, a bit more of a stab in the dark. Salamon, on the other hand, which I've got at 4 from BT15, this one, it kind of is a dual purpose rookie. So at the start of the game, so in the early game, its start of main effect essentially says if you have 3 or more security cards, you may add the top card of your security set to your hand. So that helps you make your security smaller to help your effects kind of go off a bit more, yeah, a bit earlier. And then later on in the late game, if you have 2 or fewer security, you may place a yellow Digimon card with the vaccine trait from your hand at the top or bottom of your security stack. So it gives you recoveries later on as well. So I just think this Salamon is really good. It gives a -2 when a security stack is removed as well. Just absolutely fantastic for that dual purpose and why I've got it at 4. Then we go to the level 4s and we've got 3 copies of the Gatomon from BT15. I am really tempted to run this at 4, but I don't have 4 copies of it. I've only got 3. One of the fact trashes this card from the security set, you may play it from without paying the cost, so it just pops out the moment you play it, you trash security. It has barrier. All turns when a card is removed from your security stack, gain 1 memory, so there's that memory gain again. Another reason to potentially put this at 4, and it gives barrier as inheritable as well, so just in case we don't have barrier on something, we can get it. Granted, both of our level 6s provide barrier, but our level 5s might need it, so not bad. Then going into the new Reppamon from BT22, I'm no longer playing the old Reppamons. I did try the EX4 one for a while, even had it in as a hero as a one-of, but I've also decided to put this Reppamon to 4, you know, because this Reppamon is great in the fact that we can trash it from the security and play it out, but also it's really great for removal, because being able to do a -6 on something until the end of your opponent's turn by trashing the top of your security is really good. -3 if you don't want to trash security as well, gives -2000 when you're attacking. As well, and if you've got rush on this, which is possible, then that's going to be -8 on something. If you trash the Chirinmon from the security, then that's another -8. You know, this guy could do, you know, -14 you know, in the best case scenario, which is insane on a level 4. So I absolutely love him. Then we've got the Gatomon from the Structure deck, so the Adventure Gatomon. Now this one doesn't have an effect to be trashed from security. Both of the previous cards get played out when you trash them from security. This one just has a generic security effect, which you just play it out at the end of the battle. But that security effect is really pivotal for us because it gives 2 of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1. And that is incredibly good later on in the game because we need to make sure we've got layers upon layers of security minuses because of our very low security. We can't just rely on Mitamamon all the time, so we need to rely on cards like this. This is also really good because it has the adventure trait, and so one of our Digimon can take advantage of that later on in the game. And when attacking one of your opponent's Digimon gets -2000 DP is also really nice. Then going into our level 5s, let's start with our aces. So we've got MagnaAngemon Ace and Angewomon Ace. I've put them in. Honestly, we don't ace into them a lot. A lot of the time we're just hard playing them for 4. As really, really cheap. The MagnaAngemon obviously helps us recover. So it gives us just a straight up recovery +1. For a long time I was trying to test without this. And tried to test with some other bits, but I just found we needed some sort of way of recovering late game. So the MagnaAngemon Ace just gives us that little boost. It doesn't do any trashing or anything like that, but just gives us that recovery, and that's sometimes more important. Also minuses one of your opponent's Digimon by 1000 for each card in your security stack, which obviously because we are just blitzing our insecurity all the time, isn't going to be a lot, but it's that recovery +1 that's really the more important thing. Then we've also got Angewomon, who is also great. It's another source of trashing our stuff from our security. You trash the top of your or bottom of your security stack. One of your opponent's Digimon gets -6000 DP until the end of their turn. And then an all turns effect, when a card is removed from your security stack, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, recovery +1. So she just helps us keep replenishing our security as well whenever we're trashing it, which is really good. Then we've got the BT22 Chirinmon. This one is another one that has an effect when it is trashed from the security, and it gives -8000 DP for the turn. So as I mentioned with the Reppamon, it can potentially do -14 from our level 4. Kind of nuts. But the other part of it as well is also really nuts. When digivolving, by trashing your top security card, this Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card with Kentaurosmon or Mitamamon in its name, or the CS trait in the hand, with the Digivolution cost reduced by 2. So it just means you go into one of your level 6s for a cost of 1, which is really nice. And then when attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -4000 DP, also really nice. Granted, I am tempted to potentially put in the EX4 Kyaromon, or EX5, is it EX4, EX5? Yeah, EX4. Or was it EX5? No, it was EX5. What set were you from? EX5, yeah. The old Reppamon was EX5. The old Kyaromon was EX5. Sorry, I'm such a rush this morning. And that one is really good because it can unsuspend and do some stuff and add something into security stack. So I'm really tempted to add that one back in, but this one is really, really good. And then we've also got the Angewomon from the structure deck, so the Adventure Angewomon. Obviously her effect doesn't pop off that much to digivolve up into an Adventure trait Digimon, but we've got 4 of the Gatomon, so it does come up, it can happen, to just give us a free evolve and also, security stack minus. We could also use her to digivolve into our other Angemon, because we're playing this at 2 copies. At one point I was even playing this at 4, but I missed that recovery from the MagnaAngemon Ace, so I put the 2 copies of that back in. But the main reason why this is really good is the alliance effect. So the your set effect, when your other Digimon are played or digivolve, if any of them have the advantage trait, one of your Digimon gains alliance for the turn, then one of your Digimon may attack, and then just straight alliance as the inheritable, which, given that Mitamamon can play out a body with its when digivolving when attacking, is really good, and the fact that Kentaurosmon can unsuspend itself, really good. So you could easily get off 2 to 4 checks with those 2. Then going into the level 6s, first let's talk about BT22 Kentaurosmon. I did talk smack about this card on our community page because I didn't think it was that impressive compared to the old BT13 Kentaurosmon, which you'll notice I'm not running. And the reason is this card may not do a -7 on swing when it unsuspends, but the ability to just at any point of the game place anything you want into your top security card, with no conditions other than it's a yellow card, with no restrictions on your security, is really good. The old Kentaurosmon couldn't do that. You had to do it when you had 6 or fewer between you and your opponent to gain the 3 memory and put something into security. I would be tempted to put the old Kentaurosmon back in as a one-off, but I just found 9 times out of 10 I wanted these 2. I never wanted the BT13 one, which is a shame. because I do like the BT13 in principle. You know, doing a trash -7 if you trash the Chirinmon, that's -15 on something, you know, which is kind of nuts. But, you know, we could also do that with a level 4, which takes us a lot less work to do. So I really like this Kentaurosmon. You could also play it out for a reduced cost of 6 if you've got 6 or fewer, so you can just hard play it out. It's got blocker and barrier, so it can be your defensive option, and we do need some form of defensive option in this. It's our only blocker. We don't really have blocker anywhere else. And being able to, when this Digimon suspends, trash your top security card so it unsuspends, so it can double block potentially. It can double swing. Yeah, I actually do really like this card, and I feel really bad that I talk smack about it. It's also, in general, cheaper to go into than the other Kentaurosmon, because the other Kentaurosmon cost 5 to Digivolve into, and unless you got the 6 or fewer thing and did gain the 3 memory, then it wouldn't pop off. But yeah, I really like this card. Then we've got Mitamamon, who's the other kind of backbone of the deck. When digivolving, when attacking, by trashing the top security card of your security stack, you may play 1 yellow level 4 or lower card from your hand without paying the cost, and Digimon played by this effect gain Rush, which is really good because we can play out our Kudamon, get a search, Rush, potentially warp that up into Kentaurosmon using our Richard Sampson. You know, really, really good. Also, what's great about this, all of your yellow Digimon gain barrier. Also, what's great about this, opponent's turn effect, all of your opponent's Digimon levels greater than or equal to the total cards of both players' security stack gain security stack -2. So this guy will save your ass so many times, but he becomes public enemy #1 the moment he's on board, because the opponent wants to be able to swing over you for game, and Mitamamon stops you from doing that. And that is really the crux of this deck. It very much feels like it's a glass cannon version of Puppets. If it was a deck with protection, watch out, because like this deck sometimes does not care about how quickly it blitzes for its own security, because it can just, you know, absolutely steamroll people. But Mitamamon and Kentaurosmon are a great pair. Then let's go into the tamers. I'll first go to Richard Sampson because I've kind of already mentioned him. When somebody trashes him from security, you get to play him out, which is great. Gives you a memory if there's 6 or fewer total cards of both players' security stack, and then also if there's 6 or fewer total cards of both players' security stacks. By suspending this tamer, one of your Kudamon may digivolve into a Kentaurosmon in the hand for the digivolution cost, ignoring its level, which is really nice. I've been able to do that before, where I've got Mitamamon, play out Kudamon, give it Rush, warp into Kentaurosmon. So really, really good. Then you'll notice I've got 2 different Karis, and this is kind of because I've got 1 copy of each of these as physical cards, but also because they kind of do similar things for us. So the Kari from BT8 gives us sets us to 3, which is obviously good, but also gains us a memory when we add to our security stack, which we do a lot of the time on our turn. The purple Kari, so the one from BT4, when a card is removed from your security stack, you may suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory. So this is all turns. I would honestly be tempted to have this one at 2 if it weren't for the fact we can't search it. So I've definitely thought about putting this one at 2, so that whenever we're adding, we're gaining the memory. I did also try the BT15 Kari, which sets us to 3 and gives us security at -1 when we're trashing something. So that's another thing, but I missed the memory gain from these guys. So I've got these in for the memory gain, really. You know, with Kari mixed with the Patamon, that's 2 memory, and Kari mixed with Gatomon, that's 2 memory whenever we're removing, so not bad. Then we've got Odin's Breath. This one is a 5 cost card, so you don't want to be just slapping this down in the early game because it won't do much. It essentially gives -3000 DP to one of your opponent's Digimon at the end of their turn, and then if there's 6 or fewer cards in both players' security stack, all of your opponent's Digimon gain security stack -1 at the end of your opponent's turn. I was running this at 2 for the longest time, but I found I needed to go more on the aggro side of this and go for more consistency cards and stuff like that. But, you know, you can add this to your security, it gets trashed, it will still activate. Extraordinarily good. Then we've got Revelation of Light, which does a similar thing, and this is the reason why we've got the Kari names. When you trash it for security, you activate its security effects. Then search your security stack. You may play 1 yellow level 4 or lower Digimon card among it without paying the cost. Then shuffle your security stack. If you have a table of Kari Kamiya in its name, place this card on top of your security stack. And then security effect, all of your opponent's Digimon and security Digimon get -5000 DP until the end of your turn. So really, really good for that blanket kind of board control. And then we've got yellow Scramble. Scramble is really integral in this deck because you're trashing your security so much. So if you've trashed stuff that doesn't get played out, or you've trashed stuff that you kind of would like in your hand, the Scramble can be used to bring those back out of the trash for you, whilst also cheapening your Digivolutions, albeit, as I always say, you're technically only reducing the cost by 1, because you're using this for cost of 2, reducing by 3, so it's only really reducing by 1, but sometimes that's enough. And playing out stuff at the beginning of turn to also, you know, get that advantage. Really good. You've got 2 different starter mains you can use advantage of. You've got the on play to use advantage of. Really good. And just paying out 2,000 with the security effect is also great. And then we've got physical training. For a while I was running this at 2. I bumped it up to 3 just to give us an additional searcher and another way of kind of reducing our costs. And that is that. So yeah, that is the build. Obviously you'll notice the ratios are a little bit weird, but it does really work. I did try a bunch of other things in this, like putting in Sharingan Ruin mode. I tried the old Chirinmon, the old Kentaurosmon, you know, loads of stuff. You know, but this is ultimately the build that I've really settled on. In my testing, granted I've had to test at home because I've not been able to make it to locals this week because my daughter was unfortunately had a bit of a head bump, so I decided to stay at home on locals. But she basically this is kind of feeling good. The only deck that this has struggled against was adventure in testing, which adventure is adventure, let's be honest. You know, and Kentaurosmon is not really meant to be a meta threat. You know, I think it could definitely surprise you with how quickly it can go, but yeah, really love this deck. It's very fun, and I hope you guys have fun with it. And let me know what you guys think of this build. You know, how you're building Kentaurosmon, you know, how you guys would play it. You know, as always, if you think my ratios are shit, let me know. You know, I always want to learn from you guys as much as I would hope you guys learn from me. But anyways, like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and we'll see you again on the next video. But until then, keep it digital.